So really, really pleased to be here. Also so pleased that Judge Christy Yang is also joining us here. Thank you, Christy, for being here. If you haven't met her, take time to say hello. And then we have represented Christine Sinicki, who will be speaking in a bit. So we'll introduce her in a bit. Thank you for being here. And then I think most importantly, thank you. Let's clap for each of you for being here tonight. The fact that you are here tells me a lot about you, right? That you care about this community, you care about Wisconsin, and you care about just Asian Americans in particular having political power, right? And being engaged in the process. So many people died before us so that we can vote. So let's remember that, right? So that check mark, voting is so important for us, for our children, for future generations. So thank you so much for being here tonight. So you did not come here tonight just to hear me talk, because I can't talk for 2 more hours if you let me. But I'm not going to do that because there are other very important people here tonight to let you know about the message and why Elaine is running. I met him about 13 years ago when he was just a younger guy and I was much younger myself, running for county supervisor, right? For school board first. And I really love people who want to do this work, right? When they want to do it themselves, when it's their dream, and they want to run for office, and they say, can you help us, right? That's what I look forward to doing. So I'm so happy to just have him be here tonight. He's not going to make a long speech either. Other people will say a few words, but I'm going to invite Yim Leej Xyooj to say a few words about why he's running, right? We're not going to be the ones voting for him, right? But there's going to be other people. But each campaign is so expensive to run, and so he needs our help. We are blessed to have this opportunity to stand up and support him. So Elaine, I'll give you the podium, and please tell our community here why you're running and why we should support you. Well, I will say that more later.
Thank you, Dr. Chia. I was telling B-Band a little bit earlier that you have just an incredible, commanding presence, and also you are an incredible leader, and I look up to you in every single way that I try to do. And I'm so thankful to each and every single one of you for being here today, from individuals like Dr. Maisy to Chris from the chamber, as well to Richard, and so many of the other individuals that are here with us today. My name is Yim Leej Xyooj. I was born in Wausau, raised in Weston, but my story here began way longer than me being born, because my story began like many of those that are in this room today. My parents I was born to 2 parents who were refugees in St. Juan, Laos. My parents came to the United States here in pursuit of the American dream. When they made the decision to come to America here, they knew that the sacrifices was going to be huge. It was going to be big. But they didn't realize how big the sacrifice was going to be. Because when they came to the United States here, they made the decision to cross the Mekong River. But before that, they had to leave at the latest hours of the night here to go through the jungle of Laos and cross the Mekong River. Along the way, we lost my aunt, who stepped on a landmine and was killed along the way. And then as they made their way through through the jungles, and as they got closer to the Mekong River, they realized they were coming close to a Vietnamese outpost. And because of that, at that time, my older brother was actually sick, and the leaders of the group actually told them that they needed to make sure that he doesn't cry anymore. So they gave him opium in hopes that he would be sedated and wouldn't cry throughout the journey. But unfortunately, he overdosed and passed away. They buried him at the side of the border or the shores of the Mekong River, and to this day he lays there, and we've not been able to visit him. My parents came to the United States here, pursuing the American dream, and their first job was actually picking up worms at Marathon County Park, selling them for a few dollars. Eventually, they went to go work in a factory, and there, my dad worked in a labor union, participated with the labor union, and my mom did what she knew best, which was sewing clothes. Eventually, I was born, and I was given the opportunity to participate and also to get involved with the community. My mom and my dad instilled upon me that we need to give back to our community in any way we can, because that's the only way we can survive. And I've instilled that upon me when I first ran for school board in 2014. I defeated a 25-year incumbent who was in that position for 25 years, defeated her, and then served on the DC Everett School Board since. In 2016, I ran for county board. I was actually approached by a very conservative individual by the name of Mort McBain, who was the county administrator, who actually approached me and asked me to run for the county board. There, I ran unopposed because I scared off a candidate, that was going to run at that time, and got elected, and has been on the county board since. In 2018, several members of the Village of Weston approached me and asked me to run for Village of Weston. And there I ran in a field of 9 candidates, the largest in the Village of Weston's history. We had a primary in a local level, which was very surprising. I have never been heard of. There I placed in the top 6 and eventually got elected to the village board, where I served for 2 terms before I stepped down. Through my entire experience working in these positions here, I know the challenges that our community faces, from the affordability crisis to affordable housing to affordable childcare to healthcare, access to healthcare, support for our businesses, to helping and ensuring that there's funding for education, to supporting in our infrastructure, our broadband, to ensuring that public safety has the resources that they need, and most importantly, to ensure that our veterans receive the recognition they get. There has been barriers time and time again when I ran for office, or when I was in office, serving office, and ran for office. And every time we asked about what we could do to make things better, they've always said that the state legislator has chosen not to act. And unfortunately, Madison has failed us. It failed us not in the fact that it failed us because it has chosen not to take action on several key issues. Just this past term, we know that there was $150 million that is sitting at the state legislature that has not been distributed out to address the PFAS issue in our community. And there's $15 million that has not been sent out to address the healthcare crisis in the eastern part of the state. And there's also millions of dollars left that has not been distributed to address other issues in the community. And the only true action that the state has taken to address childcare was when Governor Evers allocated ARPA dollars to address the childcare crisis. Now, one of the things I will always tell everyone is that my passion is serving those who cannot speak for themselves. That's why I dedicated my life towards public service. I serve in local elected officials, but what I do for a day job is working in nonprofit. And we know nonprofit makes a lot of money. That's sarcastic. Just want to be very transparent. Nonprofits doesn't make money, but the things that you do, it does make you feel happy because you're making a difference in people's lives. And one of the things I love to do is knocking on doors and talking to folks. The other day I went and knocked on the door of one of our neighbors in the local area, and she was talking to me about her issues. Her name is Loretta. Now, Loretta was talking to me about the issues that she faced, and the biggest challenge that she had was access to healthcare. And when I was talking with her, she expressed to me about how hard it is for her to get to her doctor's appointments. But the part that really got me, though, was when she told me that sometimes she prayed that God would take her because being lonely was more painful than being alive. And those are the types of stories that I hear day and every single day when I'm out there knocking on doors, talking to people. And as I said here, the reason why I'm running is to get things done. And that's one thing that I've always valued in doing, and I've always done everything I can here to bring folks together. So why is this seat important? Why does it matter to you to many of you who's living in the Milwaukee area? Well, many of you are AAPI folks or Hmong folks that are here. And I just want to let you know that in the last 50 years that the Hmong community has been in the state of Wisconsin here, we have never had a Hmong elected official at the statewide level. So this is our closest chance. The district is a 50-50, 50% Republican, 50% Democrat. And this is the Hmong and the AAPI community is going to be the margin of victory in 85th Assembly District. If we want to elect somebody, this is our chance, this is our opportunity, and I am going to need all your help because who we're running against is an individual that is not actually living in our district. Actually, he doesn't live in 85th. 85th Assembly District. But because of the laws that are written, he is able to run for this district. And as I said here, my goal is to run and represent and be that voice that the AAPI community need and the people of the 85th Assembly need. So I would ask all of you tonight for you to contribute and support us in any way you can, and to ensure that I have the resources I can to win this election. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Yim Leej. So if like a little they got you had a moment, it's a bullshit because when you go speak to the elders, you're gonna have to speak more. So you have to show up in the moment first.
Dr. Jia, you should start first.
So I just
Blame the professor.
Yeah, so I love young people who are passionate, right? Who want to make a difference, who are not going to just sit and wait in the house and wait for other people to do things and change things for us, but who are raising their hands and say, I want to do something about it, right? So thank you for your passion, Yim Leej. You inspire me every single day too, so just so you know that. I also want to say that I'm going to miss some people, but I wanted to also acknowledge Nrhia. He's the former president of our Hmong 18th Council. Nrhia, can you raise your hand? The ones who many live in your district, they will be voting. So, we are here tonight. We're not going to be voting, but if you have friends and family and relatives, we rely on our community leaders like Nrhia to also help encourage people to go out and vote for you. So, with that, I'm just going to say, again, I do run a pretty tight ship, so I wanted to have other people voice why they are supporting Yim Leej and why it's important for us to come together. So I'm going to introduce Xyooj, who I acknowledged earlier, the owner of this building, but he is also a very important business entrepreneur in this community. So I want to invite him to just say a few words, and then we're going to just go down the list, but please do come up here, Xyooj.
Thank you. My name is Xyooj, and this is my wife. And I'm very happy to be here tonight. And very nice to see everyone here. I know Yim Leej for many years, and his family and his father. His father used to be president for the Hmong community for many years, and their family contribute a lot of times, monies, energies for the Hmong community, and they are very good family. And I know that Yim Leej will be a good leader, and he will be a good state representative, and will be good for the community in the state of Wisconsin. And I go bao had the Yim Leej giấy tù người cho lụt tù ấy mình dùng ngô sông hành thầu này lụa lò người dân sống có thể cho thầu người giàu giàu lò người chỉ giờ bắt thán mình phụ chế người chỉ dân cho sông người chỉ có bắt thà rồi cho con hồng con đấu thế người chỉ theo là chuyện năng mà là giấy chuyện năng của là rú mong hành là chỉ hay nhiệt chia đã do chỉ là mấy bát sợi hành chỉ ta đi là chuyện năng nó là xé rồng muốn nó muốn chữ muốn tên là chuyện chén tua người chỉ dân muốn nào hậu chờ sợi là tôi nào hậu để cũng trên kia Yim Leej dù giờ ít tôi cho rồng bây giờ bé sẽ tôi Yim Leej lâu với tôi mà bé tôi stay rep nhau hậu Wisconsin nói gì nhiều ba tàu bé lúc community thì ba tàu bé muốn rong hành bé cú xã hội đó bé cho mong họ chỉ tu mong nào là cú xã có bé sẽ được bao nhiêu rồi Yim Leej thì rồi giờ này chỉ nhau bé Wausau area là cụ xã có sở đời dây mù ba gì lần mù ba chào bay mù ba nhà nó tên đó thử cụ năng ba tàu đi chợ lò bé ba gì lần giờ tụ thị o thủ giờ cụ tụ nhà nó cứng phanh nhà là quý rau là cụ chỉ dân thì chỉ còn đợi bé ba nhà là chỉ dân là bé chia sẻ thì thằng đây nó muốn đầu nhà bé nhiều quá thì chỉ nó gì lần giờ tụ thị o lò kia cụ sẽ bây giờ thì nó cụ xã thì bé sơ gì lần bé sơ đời nhưng mà chỉ do ba nữa sơ nữa thì họ bé qua tàu giờ này dân là bé sơ dân giờ chỉ dân là bé dân được họ thì bé mới thu năng ở một phần sự lò kia họ election nó cụ hai bé lò lên nói bảo đây nó không đã chỉ lò cả bé sơ đời sinh ba sinh sơ thì họ lúc sinh sơ nó chỉ đi cụ hai này nên từ sáng tôi chỉ lò to nè tôi chỉ đâu sự dân giờ trong cái community có sở đời có sở đời tua ba đầu community nó thì có bây giờ nên tôi chỉ cụ hạ cái lò này nói cụ cho đồ này sở đời và này chẳng ba rồi mà mỏ tua cái nó thì trong đời diễn lần thọ phụ có một lúc có một số cái dân để thọ và chuyển được và chuyển giao lưu dân thì nên tôi nên từ tỏ tôi đã chỉ sử rồi dân tôi nên từ tỏ tôi đã chủ dân sự để thọ và chuyển tôi có đó của chờ.
So, thank you, Nrhia. I want to say the last part of his speech was that this is a center. It's his building, but he welcomes anyone to come and use it. So it's his building, but it's also a community center. So if anybody has events and you'd like to use, feel free to reach out to him. Our next speaker is Representative Sninky. So I invite you to the podium.
Do I need the microphone?
No.
Okay. I do. I'm Italian, so one of the traits of being Italian is when you get excited, you talk with your hands and you move around. So I'm going to skip the microphone. So when I was asked to come here to speak tonight, my first thought was, I live in Bayview, which is the very southeast part of the city of Milwaukee. I'm going to go all the way to the northwest corner of the city, right there. It's worth it, because we honestly have a chance to pick up this seat. Now, let me tell you a little something about Representative Pat Snyder. His daughter works for me, believe it or not, in my office. She's a Democrat. And she told me, maybe about 3 weeks ago, that her mother was extremely angry that her father had to rent an apartment in this new district in order to run. So this is not an incumbent in this district. This is an open seat. Now, I know most of you have been following the whole story about new maps, fair maps, whatever you want to call them. We honestly have fair maps now. Now, I have been in the assembly for many years. 26 now, I think it is. So I've seen a lot go on. But I'll tell you, these last 13 years or so have been the worst years that I have ever served in that body. Because the Republicans had such a majority, we could not get anything done. We were basically wallflowers. Now, ye started talking about money that has not been spent. Think about this ones. The state of Wisconsin has a $7 billion surplus. And the Republicans won't touch that money. They're waiting for a Republican governor so that they can use it what they want to use it for. Instead of putting it into education, instead of putting it into health care, instead of putting it into clean water and cleaning up PFAS, they will not touch that money. That's why it's so important that we pick up every seat. Now, the 85th is a 50-50 seat, but we can win it. If you look at the numbers, I was looking at the numbers here on, that they put out. Governor Evers won it with 50.57% of the vote. Justice Protasiewicz won it with 51.2%, and President Biden just about won it, but he got 49.77% of the vote. All it takes is some money. It's some energy, it's some door knocking, and talking about what a candidate that he can do in that district. I get a lot of candidates or possible candidates to come to me and say, I'm thinking about running. What do I need to do? My first question is, what have you done in your community? Well, if he had come to me and said, I'm thinking about running, what do I need to do? I would have said, you've already done it. You've been involved in your community. You've served in local government. When you get elected to the state assembly, you're going to hit the ground running because you know what needs to be done. And when did you come in here? Kind of shocked me, Nick Xyooj from the Biden campaign. So it's extremely important that you all pick up your phone right now and go to Act Blue. It's on your paper here. actblue.com/donate/ye for Wisconsin 2. Do that on your phone right now. Every little penny helps. These campaigns are expensive. They're extremely expensive. So we need your money. We need your boots on the ground. We need you calling your friends and relatives that live in the 85th and tell them they need to support him because winning this district is a big part of taking back our state. So thank you. I am really honored to be invited here to speak on behalf of you today. So, thank you.
Thank you, Representative Nikki. That was wonderful. And the Italian showed up when you started speaking. So. I was going to use my teaching voice too, but I like this microphone better. So.
I forgot my water too.
And Nick from Biden campaign?
Oh, yes.
Okay, welcome.
Oh,
Yeah. And I think, is that Chandra from API Biden campaign? Welcome too. Okay. So So Mayor Johnson could not be here, but you did send a short video, and then after he finishes, which one are you showing first? Mayor Johnson, and then Secretary of State Sarah Galuski also sent a video. They wanted to be here to support the event and support Yi, but they could not, and so they sent a short video. So let's watch that. Thank you, Ty.
Hi, this is Mayor Johnson, Mayor of the City of Milwaukee. You know, for the first time in about 13 years, we've got the opportunity to elect Democrats and have a majority in the state legislature. Yi, I think, is going to be a great champion for Democratic values here in the state of Wisconsin. So I'm encouraging folks to go out and support Yi in the 85th Assembly District.
Central Wisconsin, it's Sarah Galuski here, and I couldn't be more excited to support my friend Yi for state assembly. Those of you that know Yi, he is a fighter that gets things done, he works across the aisle, and we need that persistence and accountability when it comes to our elected. So I am thrilled to be supporting Yi. He would be the only Hmong American in Madison, even though we have one of the largest Hmong populations in the state. So this really matters. So please visit Yi's website, and it's all hands on deck to get him elected.
Thank you, Sarah, for joining us as well, too. You can find more about me at yeforwe.com, yeforwe.com, and vote for me on November 5th. Thank you.
It's so nice to, just have them share with us their support for Yi, and I want to let people know a secret. No, it's not that secret. I'm from Minnesota, right? I grew up in Minnesota, so that's where all the political activism takes place, and there's a number of Hmong Americans in the Senate and the House of Representatives. So every time I go home, people always say, how come Wisconsin doesn't have one yet at the state legislature? I want to, on November 6th, I want to go back home to Minnesota with my family and to be able to say, we have one. So I look forward to that moment. But our next speaker is a dear friend who is a community member, who is a mover and shaker in this community. It's so important for me, especially in our host committee, that we invite her to say a few words, because she is really in charge of helping to energize, helping to educate our younger generation, making sure they don't forget who they are, but then they have the tools to succeed in this society. So I want to welcome to the podium my dear friend, Dr. Chris Herjong, Executive Director and founder of Hmong American Peace Academy.
Thank you, Dr. Thiab, for this opportunity. Welcome, everyone. It's truly an honor to be able to address the crowd. But one thing for sure is that we look for role models, the guide that is a shining light for the younger ones. And so I believe that with your contributions, your financial contributions, we will help put Yi in its place for our younger generations. We always tell our young people, if you could dream it, you could achieve it. And I believe that Yi has the dream, and that through our help, he could achieve for all of us. And so I want to encourage all of us to support. Though we cannot vote, we can give our financial contribution to help him achieve the dream that he has dreamed of for a long time, and also serve as a role model for all of us in our community. We came to the United States 50 years ago to serve, and this is an opportunity to put an individual in place to serve our community. And so I would encourage all of us to make that financial contribution to help Yi to be elected into office. Thank you.
Because I run such a tight ship, we are ahead of schedule. But we purposely did this. Hi Ted, nice to see you. I wanted to say that, there's so many people in our community who make a difference. And I'm gonna put her on the spot. Just gonna invite Judge Christie to say a few words. She doesn't know this, but every time we have an event, we just invite her to say a few words, because she won here in our community. And so, Yi, thank you for being here. And so I invite Christie to say a few words. And then if the Biden campaign, the couple of views, a few minutes, feel free to address us, because there aren't a lot of opportunities for you to speak. So Christie, and then maybe the two, Chandra and Nick, if you want to, you don't have to, but Christie doesn't have a choice, she's ours.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here as Christie Yang, not in my official capacity, because this is partisan activity. But I commend you, Yi, for even deciding to run. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of commitment. You have to put yourself out there, and you have to subject yourself to criticism, not from just a general community, but within your own community, because there will always be doubters in politics and in life in general. So I commend you for making that tough decision. But my success in my campaign was because of all of you. And together we can do the same thing for Yi as well. And so many speakers have already said this, but while we may not be able to vote for Yi, we can help him in many ways, such as reaching out to our friends, family, and colleagues who live in that area, encouraging them to vote, encouraging them to set reminders so they actually vote, and also set reminders for family and friends, our financial contribution, and also our footprint or activity on social media. We can do that as well. So to create momentum, to create energy, we can do that from afar. We don't have to be in that county. But thank you for having me, and all the best, Yi.
I'll just be brief. Hey everyone, my name is Yim Leej Xyooj. I am here, I'm President Biden's Political and Coalitions Director. I do want to just personally acknowledge the elders in the room and just all the service that you provided to this country. I know it doesn't always go the most recognized, but our collective future is together, and I'm just very grateful for just the contributions this the Hmong community in particular makes to Milwaukee, the state of Wisconsin, and the country. And I just want to, I had a conversation with Yi. He always reminded me of just the barriers that folks have to face when going through this space, especially democratic politics. And through that all, before even running for higher office, he has cultivated pathways for people to do that and support candidates who are even in this room who ran for statewide office. So he's been a coalition builder. And I want to also recognize the amazing power that when you build amazing coalitions, what you can do, including getting API education passed here in Wisconsin, making sure that this community and veterans are being recognized for the service to this country. And that's what power is when you build coalitions, and he has done his career. So I will say, like, I came here to this because I wanted to pay respect to Yi and to the community that's putting so much work to make this nation a better place, and quite frankly, our party a better place. I am proud to support Yi for State Assembly. I proudly contributed $100 today, just now, to your campaign, and I hope you all will be able to contribute to this campaign as well and support him talking to voters. Thank you.
Nick, feel free to come up here with the microphone if you need it.
They don't see you. Come on.
I can say that here. Uncle Dong Cheng told me to say Nyiaj. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but
yes.
So I apologize. But you know, I just wanted to thank you all for giving me the space to speak here and obviously celebrate Yi's race. I mean, what his candidacy really displays is that we're at a precipice in time where, especially in Wisconsin, we have to start putting people who look like us, who belong in our community in office, to really translate our demands and the issues that we care about into action. And it's now more than ever in such a critical election, not just on our national level, but in our most local levels, that we need to build the ground up. We're at a very critical time in our country, a very sad time, where, you know, we see at a larger level our essence of our democracy being threatened fundamentally, and we see the effects of that trickling down into the state of Wisconsin. And it's important that we put people like Yi in office to make sure that we can actually build the ballot upwards, and that we can put more candidates in office that look like us, as I mentioned earlier, and look like the people around us, to truly represent our community in an authentic and in a very genuine way. So what I will commit to you from my end is I will do everything I can to be an authentic and genuine liaison between our communities and the campaign and the work all our campaigns are doing at large. And I look forward to working with all of you over these next coming months to help, you know, people like Yi win, and help all of our Democrats running in Wisconsin win, so we can build a better future in Wisconsin and build a better future for America together. So thank you.
So I don't normally do this. Yeah, since we have time, usually I'm not on schedule, so I usually don't say something, but I feel compelled to be here. And because I feel as though in this room, nobody knows him the way I do. Here I go again. I've known him a long time. For years now, he and I continue to have conversations on a weekly basis. He and I talk about the state of Wisconsin. We talk about the work that we do. We serve on a board together. We talk at least what feels like at least every 2 to 3 days. So when I look around here, I don't think there's anybody probably in a better position to say something than me today. And so I grew up in Wausau. I knew Yi Leej from all these years ago in Wausau. You know, I've seen him grow as a politician. I've seen him grow as a community leader. I've seen him grow as a person. Nobody, I don't think, in the state of Wisconsin who can serve and is ready to serve the way this gentleman is. I have worked alongside him, like I said. He is fair. He likes to build bridges. You know, he's not blind to the fact that it's not easy, you know, to do that. One would say that about him if he had just started his political career. But he has been doing this for some time now.
He's not naive to the fact that there is conflict and that there are different views, different sides. I have seen him, and he continues to have the steadfastness within himself to do what's best, believe in the community, and sometimes, I should say many times, it's gotten him into trouble with people when it doesn't go the way that people want it, because he wants it to be fair, he's ethical. This is the kind of person he is. He and I don't always see eye to eye, but I respect him. I respect him because at the end of the day, like brothers and sisters, we know we have the same goal, and that is to make the community better. And with him in office, I truly believe that we can become a better state because he is there. He's not just going to be serving himself, but he's serving all of us. So I couldn't be prouder. I don't take this lightly. I don't endorse people on a regular basis, but I endorse it today. And I, as a sister, as an AAPI member, as a community member, I am so proud to be here to co-host this event today, along with many of our friends here. So it warms my heart that all of you came out today to support my brother here. So, Yim, I love you, and I wish you all the best. You're gonna make it.
Thank you.
She does know him much longer than I have. I was at his first campaign in Wausau for school board, so I remember it was a very different time. So you have grown. So I'd like to entertain all of you, but on a very serious note, he is well positioned to make a difference. And what I want to say is that he's going to win. And he's going to serve the state of Wisconsin, he's going to serve that area, and he will just be, someone who happens to be of Hmong American descent. But he's going to be, a good legislator who's going to care about everyone in that district. Whether they vote for him or not, that's what's going to be for our state. So with that, I'm going to invite McKinley Fakowski, campaign manager, to give us an update about where the campaign is and where else we can contribute to support. And then after that, we'll open it up for some Q&A for those of you who didn't get a chance to speak. If you want to ask, Yi any question about things that he cares about and ways in which he wants to navigate and address all kinds of different issues. So I'm going to invite McKinley.
Hi everyone, my name is McKinley Falkowski. I am Yim Leej Xyooj's campaign manager, and I am just absolutely thrilled to be here today. When Yi said that we were doing a fundraiser in Milwaukee and he wanted to put one together, I'm like, you're crazy. Like, normally when you run for state assembly, you just focus on one area. But there's just something about Yi's character, and let me move this up so you guys can actually hear me, that has allowed him to unlock people across the state who can come out at any moment to support him, and he's just a fantastic person, and I'm going to get into that in my presentation. So, real quick, I just want to look at the 85th Assembly District and talk about its history and how we've gotten here today. But before I get into where we are today, we need to back up to 2010, when Republicans took control of all levers of power in the state government. They took control of the state assembly, the lower house. They took control of the state senate, and they took control of the governor's mansion. And with that power, instead of really doing something good for everyday Wisconsinites, they decided to jam through an extreme partisan gerrymander, which basically ensured that no matter how much Democrats won statewide, they would have near supermajorities or supermajorities in both houses of the legislature, meaning that everyday Wisconsinites, their voices weren't really heard and aren't really reflected in the state legislature. But thanks to all of your hard work, we were able to create change. In 2023, Justice Portisewicz was elected to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. And the Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled that the Republican extreme gerrymander was unconstitutional. And so a new map-making process began. And earlier this year, Governor Evers signed into law for the first time in 14 years a fair set of maps that created a bunch of actual 50-50 districts statewide. And so this election, in 2024, Wisconsinites will finally be able to have a real say in how their voices are heard in state government. And so going to where we are today, and talking about the 85th Assembly District, which covers the city of Wausau, the town of Wausau, the village of Weston, and the town of Weston. That district is incredibly different compared to what it was under the old set of maps. Under gerrymandering, there are really two sets in how you can do it. And I'm from New York, so we sadly do it in the wrong direction. But there is called what's called cracking and packing. And I know you are very familiar with this here in Milwaukee. And what that does is it dilutes the power of Democrats and minority groups by intentionally drawing the maps in such a way that it basically makes it hard to elect a Democrat. And Wausau was one of those communities. And it diluted, it basically split the Hmong population, which is really concentrated in the village of Weston and the city of Wausau. It kind of split them. And so there really was no one cohesive large group of the Hmong population. They were completely split. And also, under the old maps, it was far more rural. The city of Wausau has a population of 55,000. And the maps were drawn in such a way that it just completely diluted the power of the city of Wausau, and had this large stretch of rural turf that really made it nearly impossible to elect a Democrat. They did it like once over the course of the gerrymander, but that was it. So we are out with the old Republican-leaning elements of it and in with the more Democratic in the village of Weston, creating a true 50-50 district, which I'm going to get into on the next slide on what does 50-50 actually mean. I know we keep throwing that around, but it actually means 50-50. And another reason why we believe that this race is winnable is because we have such an amazing candidate in Yim Leej Xyooj, which I'm going to get into more about his background on the next slide, because that's why he should be elected. It's not because he's a Democrat, it's because he's an actual amazing person who reflects the values of the community. Yes, awesome. So he's already spoken, so I'm not going to read off his biography, but I really wanted to get into a personal story that I have with you. I've been working in politics for years, and I have not met a politician who actually cares about people the way he does. This isn't widely known, but this weekend I was involved in a car accident. I was driving down a road in Madison, and a drunk driver slammed into my vehicle, totally my driveway. Thankfully, I walked out with no injuries, but instead of a normal boss reaction, which is, "Hey, are you okay?" "Yes, I am." "Great," and we just continue on working. He's been incredibly passionate, incredibly caring about my situation. He even offered today, "Hey, do you want me to find a friend's car for you so you can actually get around and buy groceries?" That's not a normal boss's reaction. That is an actual human being who cares about people, and that just demonstrates who he actually is. He's not, he's actually in this to help people and help his community. But back to politics real quick. He has an amazing story. He's already talked about how he's the son of refugees. And he has an amazing story. He's been elected 11 times in the past decade by his community. That is more times than the Republican Pat Snyder has been elected. He also has experience working in various nonprofits. He is executive director of the Hmong American Center, which is a fantastic organization that I encourage you all to look up. He also has experience working in nonprofits, helping victims of domestic violence and victims of human trafficking. He does this because he cares about it, not for the paycheck, but he does it because he cares. And another reason why he's such a fantastic candidate and such a fantastic person is because his values are in line with the community. He likes to make a joke that if this community were too Republican or too Democratic, he wouldn't be running. not because he doesn't want to sell people, but because the values that he brings to the table wouldn't be represented by that district. This is a true 50-50 district, and the former mayor of Wausau, Katie Rosenberg, has called him annoyingly moderate. And in a 50-50 district, you want an annoyingly moderate person representing that district, because that is in line with what the community wants. So, I know I keep throwing around the phrase 50-50. What does that actually mean? And real quick before I start talking numbers, can people in the back hear me well? Great. So if you rank all 99 seats in the state assembly by President Biden's performance in 2020, you'll notice that we are seat number 50. What does seat number 50 mean? It means that whoever wins this seat is more likely than not to win the majority in the Wisconsin State Assembly. Meaning, you could have more committee chairs out of Milwaukee that represent the values of Milwaukee. You could have more committee chairs in Madison, or and we can elect people across the state who can actually represent their community. This race has an outsized importance because it is the actual 50th seat on the path to the majority. And with a 50-50 seat, it means that this race is incredibly difficult, but it is winnable. And so thank you all for being here today. This is a fantastic opportunity to win this seat. I now want to get into what the campaign is doing. And we have amazing partners with us on this journey to make sure that we actually win this race. We have support from the Assembly Democratic Campaign Committee, which their entire job is to make sure that we get a majority in the Wisconsin State Assembly. They have paid for a full-time campaign manager, me, to work this race. And they are also helping us draft our paid communications program. They're helping us draft our campaign plans. They're going to be conducting polling. They're going to be conducting message testing. It's incredible the amount of services that the Assembly Democratic Campaign Committee, or the ADCC, will be providing to us. This assembly races have, because of how much money in politics and the importance of the state legislature, in terms of money, this is really a mini congressional race with how much money is being spent on it. And so we need incredible partners with us on this journey to make sure that we are successful and we are getting that level of support. We also have the Democratic Party of Wisconsin. I know we have a representative from DPW here today, but we have also bought into the Democratic Party of Wisconsin coordinated campaign. What does that mean? Well, there are dozens of staffers statewide that we are working with in part of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin coordinated campaign. Or I'm just going to keep calling it the coordinated campaign since it's such a long title. With that, we have access to a local field organizer who is amazing at her job. Her entire job is making sure that we have door knockers for Yi every single weekend from now until the election. We have access to the Democratic Party of Wisconsin data team, which makes sure that we are targeting the right people all the time. So we are targeting the people who are, actually persuadable, and where our impact of knocking on that door is going to be most effective. They have that data, and we have access to it because of the coordinated campaign. Additionally, we have a variety of partners in the Democratic Party of Wisconsin that we are utilizing in this race to make sure that we are successful. We are not in this alone, and that is why we think that we can actually win this race. Additionally, we have brought on 3 consulting firms that have experience at the state and federal level. We have brought on a TV and digital consulting firm. We've brought on a mail consulting firm. And we've also brought on a consulting firm to help us with our email fundraising. This is a top-notch group of people who have experience working in California congressional races, down in the down ballot in New York State. These are experienced people, and they are lovely to work with. They're actually the people that designed our government prospectus and our literature that are on all your tables. So they do a great job at what they do. So we are in the process right now in getting into the weeds of the campaign. We are building a very strong campaign to make sure that we win on November 5th. We are putting together a very strong field program. Already we've knocked over 3,000 doors. That number on your screen is out of date, and I constantly have to go back and update it because of how often we are on the doors. We have a door goal of knocking on 28,000 doors this cycle. And we are doing a variety of major events to make sure we get people out to vote and knock on doors. We are doing what's called high traffic canvassing, which is when you go into a farmer's market or go to a Pride Fest or go to a Juneteenth event and talk about candidates that are on the ballot. We are doing phone banking, where you just call people and ask them who they're voting for. We are doing the actual door-to-door knocking called canvassing every single weekend, and constantly volunteers are going out in the week. Like I said, our door goal is 28,000. That is a high number, but that is the number necessary to win this race, and it is absolutely doable with the amount of support that we are getting on the ground already. Yi, to show you his commitment, he is knocking on over 200 doors a week to make sure that we are meeting our door goal and to make sure that he is getting out and doing the community. I've worked with candidates in the past who have not done the work. He is doing the work to make sure that he's able to get elected. Also, we have identified a diverse set of fundraising streams to make sure that we hit our overall goal. For some context real quick, and I know I'm long on the speech, so I apologize. In 2022, the most expensive assembly race, Representative Steve Doyle out of La Crosse, was $1.3 million. This race, by all estimates so far, is going to cost $1.5 million. That is a lot of money. And of that set, we're going to be getting help from the Democratic Party of Wisconsin and the Assembly Democratic Campaign Committee to fill that gap. We are responsible for raising $300,000 of that gap. And all of your contributions here today are going to fund that paid media program. I was making a joke earlier that every dollar you donate funds 2 pieces of mail. It also, every dollar you donate is 3 YouTube ads and 5 Facebook ads. So the impact of your dollar really adds up really quickly in terms of the paid messaging that has to go on for a modern campaign. And we are getting a variety of support. We're getting support from grassroots donors, meaning low-dollar donors. We're getting support from high-dollar donors. We're getting support from labor unions, political action committees, and the party as well. So we have a variety of ways that we are raising the money to meet our overall goal instead of just relying on one group of people. Additionally, we are engaging with voters in completely innovative ways that have not been done before in the state of Wisconsin. We are doing Hmong canvassing events where we are actually having bilingual canvassers go out and talk to people in both English and Hmong. This is the first time in Wisconsin this has been done in a door-to-door program, and we've had amazing success with it so far. Already, our Hmong door knockers have knocked on over 900 doors, and we are engaging people in that new, in this new process and bringing people into the electoral fold. I don't know if you guys know this, but in the Hmong community, there is a high literacy rate. And with these door-to-door, with these door knockers, we are able to go there and talk about the simple processes of how to register to vote, how to vote, and also who to vote for. So we are engaging voters in a variety of different little ways to make sure they have the information to vote, but also exactly why they should be voting freely. And like I said, this is the first time it's been doing it, and thank you, Chandra, for all of your help with this so far. It's been fantastic. Like I said, this is an innovative campaign technique that we're doing, and only Wausau. So right now, we are in the process of building our paid media program. If we were doing this fundraiser in September or October, I'd be able to sit here and show you all of our TV ads, all of our digital ads, and all of our mail. We are in the process right now of building that. And in that building of the process, your donations are going to dictate how much we can actually spend in this race. If we don't meet our fundraising goal, we obviously can't do as much. But if we exceed our fundraising goal, we can do more. So every dollar makes a difference. But right now, our digital all of our consultants are building our paid media programs to see how many TV ads we're doing, how many digital ads we're doing, how many mailers we're doing. So just know that they are in the process right now of doing the hard work. Also, I've talked about our Hmong workers. If you guys are in Wausau on July 13th, that is our next Hmong door knocking event. We would love to have you. If you guys are interested in door knocking, please let me know after. This is a fantastic experience, and this is probably some of the most impactful canvassing you've ever done, because we are reaching voters who've never been reached before, in contact before. This is a fantastic opportunity. Also, with us, we are securing endorsements left and right. Already we've been endorsed by Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin, we've been endorsed by Moms Demand Action, and we've also been endorsed by Run for Something. Groups are coming in by the day to endorse us, and we are thrilled with the amount of support we are receiving across the state and across the country as well. With that said, I'm going to open it back up to everyone. What questions do you have?
What is the Hmong population in the district?
So according to the census, it is 9.8% of the district. Now, if you do a raw, and so the district itself, and I'm sorry, I'm in order, is 55,000 people. If you take 9.8% and attach that to the voting age population of 45,000, you get roughly about 7,000 Hmong voters in the district.
Do you have, in the past, I know either Republican or Democrats really talk about Asian population, but usually young people don't vote, right? They usually senior, and our people, I don't think they read English or even more. So more people like to visualize, they don't read. Even though myself, I don't read it. I just look at the picture, oh, that's good. And so I think in the past many years, there has no people in the state on the federal level really focus, say, how can we educate these people to vote? So is that Democrat considered to do something a different way and different approach that can encourage our elderly to vote? Because I don't think the younger generation, even my kids, they 25, 30, they don't vote because they seems like politics has anything to do with their life. But the elderly is really talk about healthcare, education, mental issue, crimes, housing, mortgage, rental, food stamp, medical assistance, all kind of this. So I don't know. I just want to share with you that.
Yeah.
Is that a Democrat or consider having someone, speak on that issue, and then if you really want a Hmong vote, then I think that one thing that you focus on.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing all that. We've seen in research that when you show up as a politician and actually work to earn the vote of people, people will turn out to vote. We're not just walking in there 1 week before election day and saying, hey, please vote for me, I'm going to make all this change and not deliver on my promises. We are going there and starting the relationship building process now. And he has a long track record of building relationships in the community, so he's not walking in this blind. So we're beginning the process now. And one of the most impactful ways of increasing a person's likelihood to vote is by having a person-to-person interaction with them. I constantly go on Twitter. I'm sadly a Twitter addict. And I'm bombarded with ads attacking Republicans and Democrats. And after a while of looking at that content, you're like, I don't know what to believe. And speaking as a person who is 23, like, I understand why my generation might not be voting. But with that comes an opportunity, because we are going out there and we are educating people door to door and having that face-to-face interaction and talking about the issues that matter. Research shows that a door-to-door conversation increases the likelihood of a person's ability to vote, or their likelihood to vote, by I think it's like 1.3%, which might not sound a lot, but in the state, I'm sorry, it's 1.03%. In the state of Wisconsin, that difference can, translate to Yi winning and Yi losing because the margins are so small. And additionally, in terms of like targeting people, we have access, and this is crazy, the amount of data that we're able to do.
To secure the green number. So because we talk about all the data, because some of the people in our community, they may not have that understanding. But if you come to me, you say, Dongchen, your one vote plus your spouse and your son, so we knock down 3 votes, so we go down the list. So we need 1,500. So you can ask your cousins, like your neighbors, so we will knock down 10 more votes. So we would like to have other way educate on telling the story, share the story with the community. Because sometimes we talk about all the fancy vocabulary and doesn't resonate with our people. But tell us what number do we need to have to win this election?
15,738 votes.
Okay. So if that's the case, we have 7,000 among individual eligible voters. So let's say 50% we knock down half of that. So we need to get the number. So that would be another way that I could say campaign manager would be something very different from you, or maybe in different community. But I just would like to have the number.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, 15,738 is our win number. And that is based on a calculation, just explaining this real quick, is a projection based off of 2020 turnout when you take 2016 into account. Now, we don't know what, how many people are going to vote this election. That is one of the unknowns that exist out there. And that is just based on a projection estimating out different election results in the 85th district. Additionally, when we're talking about the Hmong population, if you break it out into different segmentations, you get in our voter file. So in the state of Wisconsin, targeting is a little bit tough sometimes. I will be honest. And so it's an imperfect practice. But in what we call the VAN, or the Voter Activation Network, which is the voter file that we use to actually target people on our door-to-door canvassing and also on paid media. You have roughly, I believe it's like 2,000 Hmong voters that are registered to vote. Of that, 1,026 voted in the 2016 election, and 1,156 voted in the 2020 election. What does that show? It shows that the Hmong population does not have as high of a turnout percentage compared to statewide average, which statewide average in the 2020 election, and I apologize, I might come up with this number, I think it was like 78.6%. The election in Wisconsin came down to 3 votes per ward in 2020, just to show you how close it is statewide. And so our job as a campaign is increasing that Hmong number to be higher than where it was in both 2016 and 2020. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
There was a question over there.
Oh.
No, the earlier question basically was very similar to what I wanted to ask. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Yim Tom. Sorry I'm late. But I'm also a web design student, and I've been studying a lot of digital marketing. And I noticed that in government campaigns, AI has been a very, very big marketing strategy. And so is AI being implemented in this campaign?
So, if I had $1 billion, the answer would be yes. And so we're not using AI just because the costs of it are so much. But we are using a variety of polling, of focus groups, to make sure that we are conducting our messages. And I know polling has this reputation out there in the world of being inaccurate, Well, that's public polling. We have access to private polling, which means that we are able to test messages. We are able to break it down to say, okay, we want to see how this particular ad and this type of messaging works towards women between the ages of 18 and 35. We are able to do that. And so we're able then to segment or break off our paid media to target those people individually. So to answer your question, like, we're not doing AI because it's inaccurate sometimes, and it also costs a lot of money, but we're doing a lot of different research methods to make sure that we have the right message to the right group of voters. Because we know that if this election is about our issues, meaning it's about the rights of women and the reproductive health choices, if it's about childcare, if it's about housing, if it's about climate change, we win. And so it's all about making sure that the election is on our terms and our issues.
So, any more questions?
Okay. Mine is more of a comment, because you guys are asking about, like, okay, you want the youth vote, you want the minority vote. Me personally, I've noticed, and I've talked to the people around my age range and younger, a lot of people don't vote because they don't feel like the representative or the person that's running has a connection with them. It's too much, oh, we're doing this for the Democratic Party, oh, we're doing this for the Republican. It's always like this back and forth, like fighting. You can spend billions of dollars on ads and all that. I think, to me, when someone puts those ads out and it's always constantly like back and forth between Democrat and Republican, it's a turn off. And I think that's why a lot of young people don't care to vote too. Because it's not about like what they care about, it's what their issues. You have no connection with the person that is running. So to me personally, if like Yi wants to win this race, he needs to find that connection with people. He needs to like stand out, be different. And it's not even so much about how much money you have, it's your action. What have you done for the community? Because like I was telling the person that invited me here, Dawn, right? I'm like, oh, I don't know about who Yi is. And you know, it's not that I don't want to know what he's done and things like that, but I was wondering if he wants to win the vote, what is his game plan? Like, how is he going to connect to us? Make us feel like, okay, it is important. Like, you are going to represent me, because we are here. It's like a very, you know, like troubling times. People are very like stressed, and people don't know who to believe anymore. So instead of just saying like, vote for me, I'm a Democratic, or things like that, they want like solid, like, what have you done for the community? Like, what do you plan to do for our community if we were to win? And to me, like, you guys can send like people to canvas and door knock and text me, but all that means nothing if I don't have a connection with the candidate that's running.
Exactly.
So let's let you answer.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that question here. So I've dedicated over 10 years of my life to the Hmong community. I started getting involved at the age of 18. You know, I was really involved, and I started mentoring Hmong youth. I've mentored over 150 Hmong youth already. Many of them are actually here. Some of them are law enforcement folks. Some of them became firefighters. Some of them became police officers. You know, they joined the Marines, opening up their businesses, etc. My passion lies in serving community members. I've worked in the domestic violence field, saving lives. Human-saving individuals who had to run away from Oregon because their husband has been abusing them and they were homeless. I've gone out and fed individuals that are unhoused using my own money to help them. But in addition to that, as a nonprofit executive, I've worked helping elders who are disabled, helping individuals who has no homes. I have been that individual that would do everything I can here to ensure that they have clothes to wear, food to eat, etc. In 2023 alone here, through my efforts at the Hmong American Center, I've provided 50,000 pounds of food to the Hmong community. That's 250,000 meals to Southeast Asian community members when they in the past here have received only anywhere from $20 to contributions towards their food. I have opened up the first Southeast Asian cultural dining site in central Wisconsin to feed our elders, and I have worked with our local healthcare providers to ensure that they have now an equal access opportunity for individuals, elders, to be able to have access to healthcare. So when they need a doctor's appointment, they can call a line that will then be able to help them schedule their appointments, get them rides, take them there. I have been one of the first one and been participating with several other organizations to ensure that our mental health care providers are culturally competent so that they can provide services to individuals that looks like us. Everything that I have done has been with intention, has been with focusing on elevating others and bringing people up rather than tearing down. When I worked at as the executive director at the Hmong American, as the school board member at DCF, we raised minimum wage for our teachers from $28,000 to $40,000, and now it's going to $50,000 for starting pay. But not only that, we are the only school district that is growing in central Wisconsin because we are creating an environment where we appreciate our teachers, and we're creating an environment where we are no longer putting partisan politics in front of us. As a matter of fact, everything we do, we ask 3 questions first. First question is, how is it benefiting our students? How is it benefiting our teachers? And how is it benefiting our taxpayers? And our students has always been the top priority when it comes to our school and education. We may not have a 100% graduation rate like Chris's school district, but we strive every single day to ensure that that every student gets the help that they need with a cultural competency, and also ensuring that everybody there gets a voice. In addition to all our school districts in central Wisconsin, DCF was the only one that lowered their taxes. In Marathon County, one of the things I strive for was public safety. So one of the things we did was we established another phone line for dispatch because the dispatcher's lines were not enough. We spent money we invested money into establishing that, so that way now if you call, your phone doesn't just get sent to a different county. Now you have access to getting the services you need. We worked with the Wausau Police Fire Department to get a grant from the federal government to bring on more firefighters because we knew that there was not enough firefighters and paramedics in the area, and we had an emphasis. And for the first time in 50 years, ever since we came to Wausau, the city of Wausau hired a Hmong individual to work as a firefighter. And that was through efforts not because of other folks, but it was because I was at the table having that discussion with them. And while my fellow colleagues on the county board spoke about the returning funds away from keeping families together, I voted for support of programs and funding like the Family Keys program that keep individuals together, keeping families together, because housing was an issue. Judge Christie knows this, but housing is an issue that sometimes prevents individuals and families from being united. And we funded programs to ensure that the housing wasn't an issue. In addition, I also supported accepting additional dollars to increase social workers to help students with disabilities in our social services. At the same time we were doing all that services, we decreased taxes in the Marathon County, and we are the lowest tax, we're the county with the lowest tax rate in central Wisconsin. So one of my passions is I want to make sure that everybody gets everything that they need, not what they want, but what they need, helping people up, helping ensuring that this quality of service remains high, but keeping taxes low. And I continue to do that to this day, even though I've been very heavily involved, and even though I'm stepping down from the Hmong American Center, I continue to bring individuals together to address issues. And one of the things, you are right, my biggest priority is ensuring that we bring folks together. And I've done that. There's been several times when I've walked across aisles, talked to folks that are more Republican than I am, and I would bring them together. And McKinley said, right, I joke about it, the fact that if the district's too progressive, I would not get elected because I'm too conservative for my progressive friends. But if my district is too right, I wouldn't get elected either because I'm too progressive for my conservative friends. So I'm an individual that's more focused on the solution, and I have done that several times and time and again. I hope that answers your questions a little bit about me.
Yeah, it does. And I just wanted to point that out because, you know, I know that that's been a constant question. Like, well, how do we get the youth vote? How do we get the minority vote? And like I said, we're kind of like in that, the reason why the vote is not happening is because you have no connection to the candidate. So the candidate, like, doesn't have to be all technical, and you don't need to have a lot of money, but it's like, if you can show people that you're real, that you know, it's not about being perfect and being like all these extra fancy stuff. People trust you, that's all we need. It's like, in these difficult times, we need someone that we can place our trust in, and they're gonna make changes that's gonna not just be for the Democrats or the Republicans, but for the best for our community and our country. And I feel like right now, like a lot of politicians are missing that big mark right there. And the next question was, are you gonna be attending like some of the big festival events like within the Hmong community the next couple of months, so that, you know, maybe we have family and friends that don't know you, but would want to talk to you or meet you in person? Are you going to be at those events?
I host the largest Hmong festival in the state of Wisconsin, the Hmong Wausau Festival. So I do chair that, and I will be attending that as well. I will plan on attending the other events like the Labor Day Festival and all the other ones as well. Only one I'm not going to is this July 4th tournament because I'm not indoors.
We have friends and family that want to, you know, because I think in our Hmong community, it's not so much about like all the fancy stuff, but if they meet you as a person, they feel connected to you, then you give their vote. So if I have friends and family in the Wausau area, but you know, maybe they haven't really gotten to know you personally and would like to meet you in person, then those are some events you said you would be attending.
Yes.
Okay.
And my contact information, I do have business cards here. Feel free to grab it and distribute the phone number. I do answer my phone quite often as well. If I don't, send text message or leave voicemails as well too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I think Yim Leej was the first politician to respond you in 2 or 3 minutes later.
So I want to save a little bit of time, so if people want to just, you know, personally talk to Yi, that you can. So thank you, McKinley, for that really wonderful update. Now we know 15,738 is the number, so make sure that you tell your family and friends. I just want to close by saying, you know, every time a young person asks me to help, I'm always like, you know, I don't have a lot, but I have time. I have some knowledge, and so bringing a team together, I just want to thank John Chang, Junior was Junior, okay, and Tommy, where's Tommy? Is Tommy here? Okay. He's not here. He's not here. So Junior, Dr. Mike C, Ty, and Dawn, we just came together and said, you know, we will host it for you, and no matter if it's 5 people, 10 people, it's success. As long as some people come and meet you, and they have lots of connections all over the state. So I'm really pleased that all of you came, and again, I just want to close also by thanking Xyooj and Nrhia, and then, you know, Dr. Herjong for being here. I want to say that McKinley already outlined a number of things that you can do, okay? Your connections, your family, and your money, right? We need money, it's not free, right? Everything costs so much money. And so, no, we don't have millions and millions of dollars right now, but you know, every dollar counts. And you made that very clear. So I want to encourage you, before you leave today, you are here because I know someone asked you to come, or you were curious, you saw some posting, and you said, you know, I want to go meet that young man and see what he's all about, right? I want to see what, you know, what he's done. And I hope that you take some time to learn more about him. I love how he answers the question, right? It's not, well, if I get elected, I'm going to do X, Y, Z for you, right? He has specific, concrete examples of things that he's done. And that is very, very important to any voter, right? Anybody can promise other people things, say nice things, but will they deliver, right? So he's got a good track record. All I'm gonna say is that before you leave today, please contribute any amount will be appreciated. But make sure it has to be from your personal checking account, Okay, don't write it from your business account. Please write it from your personal checking account. And then, you know, drop off the envelope on this little box here. They're not coming to my checking account. The box is just here. So please, you know, do consider contributing, supporting Yi. I thank you, Yi, for running. It takes a lot of time and energy and lots of, you know, thought processes and sometimes questioning yourself about whether or not you should do this. But I really appreciate the person who gets up and said, I would be there, I would do it. You know, and so because you're doing that and you say, help me, and that's why we're here. So thank you again for being here. Before you leave, one last ask. Besides, you know, making sure you donate to the campaign, please have more food. Thank you again for being here. I'm so proud of our community for bringing everybody together.